Okay, we're back for another edition of Rookie Deep Dive. It's our opportunity to learn more about the rookies that are making noise in the NHL and in the hockey card hobby. So each week we do an Instagram poll and throw out our 4 candidates and let you guys kind of pick, or our Instagram followers vote on which player we should deep dive for the given week. In the most recent iteration of our Rookie Deep Dive, we've kind of focused on Series 1 rookies since that release just came out. And so we've done Matthew Nyes in episode 80, Luke Hughes, episode 84, Devin Levi, episode 125, Matthew Coronado, 127, Dustin Wolf, 129. And our last one was Ridley Gregg in 131. But I thought now, okay, so Series 1's been out for a few weeks. We're starting to get the early stages of a rookie scoring leaderboard and kind of maybe sneak peek at who could be the Calder favorites. And so I thought I would expand it out a little bit to just Calder Trophy eligible rookies at large. So our 4 candidates this week are Marco Rossi, Brock Faber, Yaroslav Askarov, and Bobby Brink. Got the poll results here. And not a big surprise because he's been pretty dang good the last few weeks. Marco Rossi kind of ran away with it at 43%, followed by Askarov at 23%, then Brock Faber at 19%, and Bobby Brink, who's made some noise too.
Tonka boy, come on.
Tonka boy, yeah. Troy's high school there. Okay, so that makes Marco Rossi this week's Rookie Deep Dive. We're going to dig in and learn more about him, Troy.
I love this picture if you're watching on YouTube.
Yeah.
Because it's like 3 guys and then Rossi just looking at them all. And Kaprizov, he looks bored.
Kalen Addison just got traded today.
Oh, so yeah.
Maybe we should take like a black marker and kind of color him out of that picture.
Speaking of Eriksson, he was a beast last night.
I didn't get to see the game. I was busy scrambling, panicking to try to get ready for this trip. Okay, so Rossi's a 22-year-old wild rookie, originally from Feldkirch, Austria.
Wow.
Okay, so now is this the part of the story where you tell us you played hockey there, Troy? Because every time
I did not. I have not been to Austria. Not been to Austria. That's on my wife's list because she wore out 3 different VCR tapes as a kid of The Sound of Music. So she really would like to go to Austria and do like the Sound of Music tours. And I just said, I'm going to laugh when she runs through the hills and does all that stuff.
You would frolic in the mountains with her. Don't even.
But that's on our list. Some point we will be going to Austria to do that.
Well, Rossi's another one of these itty bitty offensive kind of dynamo forwards. He's 5'9", Troy, 183 pounds. Seems like baseball and hockey are the last sports you can be 5'9" and play professionally.
Well, I was going to say, how many season-ending shoulder injuries has he had? Yeah. Because that's our thing with all these little guys.
He's had his other issues, which we'll get to. So while he was born in Austria, he moved to Switzerland, though, at the age of 11 in an effort to further his hockey career.
Interesting.
And then in 2018, he made his way over to North America to play for your favorite team, Troy, the Ottawa 67s in the OHL, where he was pretty good there. And have you ever wondered why the Ottawa OHL team's called the 67s?
I've never wondered, but I guessed. I was right. I guessed it was for a year, 1967 would have been my guess. I don't know the reason why that year is important, but probably.
Oh, I do because I looked it up.
Oh, you did.
So the Ontario Hockey Association granted the city of Ottawa an expansion franchise on February 16th, 1967. 4 months later, the team was given the nickname 67s in honor of Canada's centennial year. So it looks like they were founded in Canada's centennial year.
So we're going to have to ask Phil this. What's an Ottawa citizen called? An Ottawatonan? I have no clue. I'm going to guess. Oh, I have no idea. Someone will tell us or we'll ask. We'll find out at the expo.
Yeah, we got to get lots of questions answered. We got to figure out why you get French fries at Taco Bell. And what do we call people from Ottawa? Okay, so in the 2 seasons with the 67s, he scored 68 goals, added 117 assists for 185 points and 109 total games played. That's a 1.7 point per game average in the O. He was so good in his second season, 2019-20, where his 126 points that year, Troy, led the entire CHL in scoring. Did you know that about Marco Rossi?
I did not know that.
So he was then awarded the Eddie Powers Memorial Trophy, which is given to the player with the most points in the regular season in the OHL. Also won the Red Tilson Trophy for most outstanding player in the OHL, and then was the CHL scoring champion as well.
Fantastic names. You read Eddie Powers, and I just thought of Kenny Powers right away from
Eastbound
Eastbound
and
and
Down. Yeah.
Down.
I think Eddie was Kenny's dad. So this led our Minnesota Wild to draft him with the 9th overall pick in the 2020 NHL entry draft. Coming into the draft, here's what Ottawa 67's coach said about Rossi. I left the coach's name out because I couldn't pronounce it. Just full disclosure. Okay, I'll try it because I think it'll be funny. Andre, I got that part. Tourigny?
That's as best as I could do. I would be like Tourigny.
Tourigny? One something there in between. He's the coach of the Ottawa 67s.
I was going to say, just let everyone know, I told Josh this. I found the NHL media pronunciation guide from 2021-22, and I have that thing up on my computer now for all these.
They haven't updated it in like 2 years, right?
I haven't updated it in 2 years. I haven't seen a new one, but at least I have something to help us. Andre
T., coach of the Ottawa 67s, says this about Rossi. He's relentless. His competitiveness is through the roof. He has tremendous hockey sense, good skills, and a good shot. So after the draft, the Wild signed him right away to a 3-year entry-level contract. And the plan was to, now remember, this was the 2020 NHL entry draft.
Yeah.
They loaned him to the ZSC Lions in Switzerland to play during the summer prior to the start of the NHL training camp. And COVID happens, pandemic, he gets sick, and this is kind of where everything sort of derailed for him.
Yep.
So remember that year, the start of the NHL season was delayed, and I think it kicked back up around January of 2021.
Yeah, that's what I remember.
And the Wild still invited him to their training camp, but by that time he was suffering from severe long COVID symptoms. And instead of coming back to North America to join the Wild at training camp, he went back to his home in Austria and basically missed an entire year of hockey. If you're interested to learn more about kind of his illness and struggle to get back to hockey, the Wild do this great series for almost all their players,
Yep.
kind of a profile. It's called Becoming Wild. And if you want, you can go onto YouTube and just search Marco Rossi Becoming Wild, and you'll find it. It's like 25 minutes. It's really, they played on the Bally Sports regional cable network here, and then stream it on YouTube as well. But he was so sick at some point, he said he feels lucky he's still alive.
Yeah.
At this point. So it was a pretty long and I think, tough battle back to the ice. So he I guess is able to come back to North America in 2021, played that season in the AHL with the Iowa Wild, scoring 18 goals, adding 35 assists for 53 points and 63 games played. So not a bad return, but of course in the AHL. And then the thought was coming into last year, Troy, that, okay, now he's recovered. He's had a full season in the AHL. He's ready for now the NHL, and God knows the Wild have desperately needed more offensive output. They had gotten rid of Kevin Fiala, I believe, prior to the start of last season. And he did make the team right out of camp, but then sputtered like really badly at the start of the season. So he played 19 games, or the first 19 games of the 2022-23 season with the Wild, and had all of one assist.
Yeah.
And it was kind of sad because he was struggling so much, and I think it was really getting to him. You could just see it on his face, and I think he, missed maybe a couple open nets, and it just was very apparent he was not ready for the NHL for one reason or another last year, and so the Wild sent him back to the AHL, where again though he played pretty well. He had 16 goals last year, 35 assists for 51 points and 53 games played. So in 2 years in the AHL, pretty close to a point per game average for Rossi. So that gets us all caught up to this season, where again, he makes the Wild out of camp. But thankfully for us as Wild fans, and for anyone that's followed Marco Rossi's career or collected his cards, it's gone much, much better. through the Wild's first 11 games, he has 5 goals, 2 assists for 7 points. And as a couple people that, we don't get to watch the Ducks play, but we typically see most every Wild game, and he's been fantastic. He's been really, really good. And what's even kind of more interesting, I think, from a hobby perspective, if you have any sort of interest in Rossi, is the Wild. While Rossi's been good, the Wild really have not been great.
Yeah.
We've struggled pretty mightily, and that's led Dean Evason, our coach, to switch the lines quite a bit. And for the last couple games, they've been using on the top line Rossi at center, along with Boldy and Kaprizov at wings. I don't know about you, Troy, but I really like this line.
I do. I want offensive firepower. All those guys can score. I'm all for it. They got to do something. They're such a mess at times.
And the biggest need for our team for the last 2 years has been to get a center that a capable and good center to play with Kaprizov.
Yeah.
Last year is Sam Steele, and is he in the league?
I have no idea.
I don't know. And then Ryan Hartman's been fine, but he's not a number one center on a good NHL team, and so I'm really hopeful that Rossi is kind of primed and ready to go ahead and take that spot and not let it go.
Yeah, I'm glad to see Rossi back. I know you watch that Becoming Wild thing and you read about it, and it was bad. Like, it was deathbed bad. Like, at some point they thought it was getting like maybe this guy ain't gonna make it, but I'm glad he's back. He's obviously lighting it up. I think he's second in points behind Brink for rookies. If I remember right, I think Brink's got 8. Rossi's got 7. Tied with Connor Bedard for goals, so take that.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like, if you're interested in a rookie and you want to especially spend decent money on a card, you want them to be ready for the moment, have the talent, have the goal scoring pedigree. Remember, he led the CHL in scoring his last year there, and then play with good talent. And Kaprizov, as we've talked about before, is an amazing passer. Boldy is obviously very talented too. So it's just a great situation for Rossi, and hopefully he keeps it going.
Yep, agree.
Marco Rossi is a 2022-23 Young Guns. His PSA 10 pop 287, has a 37% gem rate. It last sold for only 65 US on November 6th, a flat since the start of the season. And honestly, it's down because last year was like a false start to his career, really. And so he was a 2022 rookie. He was, remember, it was kind of like you had with the sort of Beniers and Shane Wright pairing. You had Boldy and Rossi, and he had a little bit of steam and hype coming in the season, but was pretty bad. And so that affected his market to a great deal. So you're hopeful that...
Hopeful. Yep. I like what I'm seeing so far. I'm hopefully that year off kind of got that fire burning even more now that he's back. So hopefully that he can keep it up, and Kaprizov can keep giving passes, and Kaprizov can score like he did last night finally. Sorry, I'm turning this into a Wild moaning session, but
we should do like a Wild wine line podcast. I mean, nobody will listen to it, but I think it'd be fun and therapeutic for us to do.
Yeah, they do. I think they do a Vikings wine line on KFan. Or sorry, it's a local sports radio station here, but I watched the game last night, and then I see immediately when I turn the game on, what do I see? Fleury make a good save, but then fall over backwards and start rolling around like he does. But
he just does that to bother you. He knows you're watching.
I know.